Now that you have learned the function of all 4 hormones, let's look at the menstrual cycle. Now, the cycle is typically 28 days long, which is around 1 month, but it does vary from individual to individual. In all cycles, in a 28-day cycle, this is how the 28 days are broken down into day 1 to 7, day 7 to 14, and day 14 to 28. Now, day 1 is counted as the first day of menstruation. The first day of bleeding is known as day 1. So, bleeding is actually when the uterus lining, the uterus wall, starts to shed because there is no fertilization. So, bleeding will occur for the next 5 to 7 days. During this time, your body has already obtained the signal that no fertilization happened. So the old egg cell is already being discarded, and your body now prepares the maturation of a new follicle for the next cycle. So during this phase, the new follicle would start to mature. So new follicles would mature. Follicles would start to mature. The uterus lining would also start to shed during this period. Day 7 to 14, during this time, your period has ended, all of the uterus lining has been successfully shed. So your body will now build a new uterus lining for the next menstrual cycle. So from day 7 to day 14, the new uterus lining will be built. On day 14 is where ovulation happens, when the maturing follicle now has fully matured and is released from the ovary. So this is where the fertility window. If a person have sexual intercourse during this around the ovulation, the chances of fertilization and being pregnant is very, very high. Now, after ovulation, a few days after ovulation, if no fertilization happens, the egg cell, the matured follicle which is released to the fallopian tube, would eventually die, and it would send a signal that to your body that the whole fertilization did not happen. So your body would shed all the linings, the uterus linings, and start a new cycle. So that is the phase where the uterus linings built and maintained here after ovulation, just in case fertilization takes place. Towards the end here, your body has already detected that no fertilization happens. So your uterus lining sheds and you get your period. So the cycle repeats